Hey Jemmy,
How are you doing?
Masta. How are you? What is up?
All good, all good. Nothing much
I'm
except
not.
work.
I'm not going to ask. Lockdown में क्या चल रहा है?
Thank God. Like, I'm tired of answering this question. Like, everyone's asking the same question.
I was watching in the last episode of your new show Double Trouble, which we will talk about more later on. I think whether it was you or Sania Mirza who was saying that an athlete's life means by default any relationship you have, whether it's with your parents, family, friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, it's by default a long distance relationship.
Definitely, that's true, that's true. She also said the secret is, the long distance relationship. Less
I'm
fight.
telling you, I was like so agreeing to that point, and I know so many journalists. They're like, हमारे पार्टनर्स हमें इसलिए सहन करते हैं क्योंकि हम about half the year travel करते हैं. But it distance makes the heart grow fonder. Na, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
I was just thinking back to the first tour that we were on together.
Yeah, I remember. Kolkata, right? We were playing senior
Kolkata.
zonal. My first
Senior
year.
zonal. Yeah. So for the viewers, I played my cricket from Maharashtra. That's the same state that Smriti Mandana is still playing from. So she was the captain of the West Zone team. I was in the West Zone team from Maharashtra. Jemmy was in the West Zone team from Mumbai. And my first impression of you, Jemmy, was this, scrawny kid. Tiny kid. I'm wondering if we have a photo of us from that tour. I couldn't find one, but there must be one because I was this almost 6 feet
Yeah,
tallest
I
person
remember
in
looking
the
at you
tour.
like that. Hi, Poppy, like that.
And my first impression was you कि यार बहुत talented लड़की है, उसके पास technique तो बहुत अच्छा है definitely. Jemmy wasn't playing all the matches in the 11. She
Yeah.
played the last match in the 11, I think.
Yeah.
And I thought, hi Krish. And I thought कि हाँ.
My brothers are back. He's stealing the show right now.
I know, he always steals all my shows here. So in that tour, I remember कि I did not imagine कि that was 2015 if I remember कि I did not imagine ये लड़की 2 या 3 साल में इंडिया खेल सकती है. Talent तो definitely था, technique था, but I didn't think you had the strength for it.
Yeah, I think it wasn't just you. I think whoever would look at me would tell me the same thing. When we used to meet our relatives and all that, and then my dad would be like, my daughter plays cricket now, she's playing for the zone and all that. Like, ball जाता है क्या दूर? I'm like, आपने कभी देखा भी नहीं और ऐसे कमेंट में ठीक है यार, ठीक है आप गेम देखो बाकी सब ठीक है. But I also remember on that tour, Poppy side, because I was the only one who used to like speak in English. Rest everybody they used to speak, but my first language is English, right? So I used to speak English, and I remember you asked me for a movie, an English movie, at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I told no because I was going with my other friends at 12 o'clock, and you were so disappointed with me.
One person in the team who I could ask for company. I don't remember this. I don't even remember which movie it is.
I don't remember which movie, but I remember this very well.
And that
so
tour.
I got with Devika and Tejal, and we had already planned.
Yeah.
So first I was thinking what to do. Should I go at 10 o'clock? And I'm like, who'll get up so early? It's okay, I'll go with Devika.
Ditcher. But seriously, I mean, that was one of the impressions I had. And when a couple of years later, मैंने सुना कि Jemmy scoring 200 and all in the under-19 circuit, I'm like, वही लड़की है क्या? I remember one more thing from that tour is that you were one of the first. I remember that tour especially because I missed a couple of days in that tour because I went back to Pune when my grandmother passed away. And when I came back and joined the team, you were one of the first people to come up to me and really, just convey your condolences. A lot of the people were avoiding the topic. A lot of the people were like, trying to make it feel like, ठीक है, which is completely fine. They're trying to make me feel normal. And you were like, you were very, yeah, I just like the fact that you came up and talked to me and said, you know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the movie part, but I remember the important stuff. So most of Jemmy and me were talking about this off air before. Most of the people don't know that.
Yeah, correct. I was actually supposed to come to this point. Why do people call you Poppy Thai? I mean, I've played with you so much. From the time I've played, everybody like Poppy Thai, Poppy Thai. I'm like Poppy Thai. I've also never asked you actually why Poppy Thai.
Not everyone calls me Thai. It's only like the bachas like you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone in cricket knows me as Poppy. Everyone who has played cricket with me knows me as Poppy, and because when I started, roughly in the year 2000, there was another girl named Snehal in Pune where we used to practice. Her name was Snehal Belsare. So obviously, two Snehals in the same team is like on the field can create confusion. Or the मैं junior थी, मैं बच्ची थी. So obviously, I was the one who got a nickname. Luckily, it was a decent nickname, and वो originate हुआ from the Popeye cartoon. Now think about the Popeye cartoon and think about which character I remind you of. Have you seen the Popeye cartoon, or are you a different generation?
No, I've not seen much of it. But
so there is that girl in Popeye called Olive Oil.
Yeah.
So it's Popeye, Poppy. That is the connection, and I liked it, and it stuck. Yeah.
I didn't know this was the story behind it. I thought it would have a like some other kind of a story, like cricketer or something like that. But okay.
Simple story. And I got lucky to get a decent nickname, which I liked. Otherwise, you know, there are some people who get nicknames which they absolutely hate and they get stuck with them. My brother is trying to stick one nickname to me right now, which I am trying to shake off, and that's Mohenjo-daro. Don't ask me. It does not make sense to me. I want to say that I've really enjoyed watching you guys on Double Trouble, and I want to know everything about that show. I mean, firstly, you are the one who is the natural in front of the camera. I'm sure this is your idea.
No. This is exactly the opposite. It was Smriti who called me, surprisingly. Like, even I was shocked, like, Smriti is calling me and she's like, Jemmy, how about starting a show? I mean, it'd be pretty cool, you know, two women athletes interviewing other athletes. I'm like, chalo, I have no problem. And I was actually shocked that Smriti stood up for it. Because Smriti is someone, you know, who likes to be reserved, you know, doesn't like to be much on camera, on social media and all that stuff. But I'm like, wow, yeah, that's nice. And I think, you know, she's doing such a good job. Like for her personality, I think, you know, to come up and, you know, interview people and just be that candid person that she is, I think nobody has seen that side of her, and that's the best part of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this.
It's just like the bond we share. Like, we don't think of it as a show or something like that. We just try to, you know, keep it as natural as possible between both of us, and yeah, so that's how it goes.
Nice. And how are you guys filming it? Because obviously you are in two different locations. The third person is a different location. You have the baseline team, jinke channel pe show hai, which are probably helping you. Take us behind the scenes a little bit and tell everyone who's watching what is happening behind the scenes. How early do you do scripts? How early do you speak to guests? Vagare. How many episodes are we going to see?
Yeah, actually, going to see around 10 episodes. I think we've already shot 7 or 8 episodes. So we're just trying to release it every week. And behind the scenes, it's like on Zoom, because that's the, you know, top thing everybody's using right now, Zoom. So on Zoom we record it, and then even the guests, like, we just hardly speak 5 minutes before we start the show. Like most of them I've met for the first time, not met in person, but met through video call. And, but you know, this is something very new for both of us, for Smriti and I, you know, because first thing, anchoring, learning to anchor. Secondly, you know, like trying to build a conversation with people you've met like hardly 2-3 times, or many of them for the first time. And, you know, trying to build a conversation, trying to keep it fun and, you know, something new each and every time. So there's lots to learn, you know, we still not reached that level. We can still get so much better. But I think so for a start, it's pretty good, like from the both of us. And the baseline team has helped us a lot. And, you know, getting everything together, even helping us in the start, you know, okay, we have to make it more crisp, or, you know, no, this area you can get better, what you can better. So they have also helped us, and, you know, we're grateful that we have a team behind it.
Yeah, I think it should be super fun, because also cricket exists in a little bit of a bubble. Women's cricket exists in its own bubble, women's cricket rarely gets to interact with even men's cricket, let alone other sports. So very few occasions you'll get to talk to, I mean, despite being athletes representing India, you guys won't get to talk to the likes of Sindhu and Sania a lot.
Right. I think that was the whole point of it. We wanted to do something different and something which would not just have male sports personalities, but also female sports personalities to give them, exposure and all that. And also not just cricket, because there are so many talented athletes in India, who are making the country proud, and most of us don't know about them. So that was the whole idea behind this, to have a unique show and, to just make everybody realize that, this is what India is all about, and each and every athlete in their own way is making India proud. So that was the whole point.
I really loved the Cowdung story from Sania Mirza. That was a highlight from me. And when you guys were talking to Sindhu, it blew my mind that you guys talked about periods, and blew my mind in the best way possible, because this is something that is long overdue, a conversation that female athletes need to be having with each other in the public. How did you guys decide to broach that topic, and how did Sindhu respond?
I think, before the call, we just discussed it. Like, I think this is a topic, Smriti actually spoke about it. This is a topic we need to put out in public, because there are so many girls, facing these problems, so many people who, want to really know, like, how do we handle those challenges. I remember, I used to go to school when I was in 10th. Whenever I used to go to school, some of my friends used to come up and ask me, when you're getting your periods, do you all play? I was like, yeah, we do play. We have no other option. They were like, how do you all do it? I mean, this is actually, a matter, like, it's normal to talk about periods, because it's something every woman faces, and people should know, the struggles that we go behind, and also that, I think it's very normal to talk about it, and this is the generation, there's what we should come up with. And I'm very glad, that Smriti actually asked that question. And not just that, but PV Sindhu was, she was like, the moment we said it, she was like, yeah, definitely. She didn't even, have a grudge or anything. She was like, yeah, definitely, we'll talk about it. So yeah.
Now, I'm doubly shocked that firstly, Smriti is the one who has got the idea of the show. Secondly, Smriti is the one who led the conversation about periods, because again, Smriti is this person who, weighs every word carefully. Yeah. And the fact that she led that conversation is, I'm loving the fact. And this is what happens when girls get together.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We can speak about this topic. I don't think, like, before, I mean, there might have been people speaking about it, but not that openly. But I think this is like the first time people have actually spoken. Women athletes have actually spoken openly.
Exactly. So I've been doing sports journalism for the last 5 years. Never in that span have I heard a female athlete discuss this, and especially in light of the whole boys locker room discussion that has been going on. It's important that women lead the conversation, and also show everyone how, in what context you can respectfully talk about things which are sensitive. So good stuff. I mean, I think that was a great debut for the show. And I'm really looking forward to more episodes and guests. How did you come up with the name Double Trouble?
The baseline team that helped us, they gave us few options, and out of all the options, I think everybody chose Double Trouble. So
you guys are, I mean, together you are that Double Trouble combination.
Actually, nobody still knows, Smriti, like the true Smriti. Like in India, in public, you know how Smriti is, right? So yeah, but I believe, like, it's nice for her to come up and just be herself in front of cameras. So yeah,
I'm sure she's even more loose. I mean, I've seen Smriti in her natural element. She's a lot, I mean, just for the viewers, she's a lot more chilled out and loose and very expressive fun, off camera. Fun. Exactly. It's only when you put her in that press conference seat that she puts her serious India cap on and talks, as the vice captain of the team.
If you hang out with her, you'll actually know that she's actually a pretty chilled out person and fun person to hang around with. Yeah.
And it helps, I mean, having a few kids around. With us, slightly older players, she's obviously different. With players of her own age, she was different. And with someone who's younger than her, she's obviously going to be part sister, part older sister, part cheeky friend.
Part grandmother sometimes.
True. But your age is something I wanted to ask you about. I mean, in literally every interview, and since you played for India, everyone is harping on the fact that, just 17 years old when she made her debut. Now you're 19 years old, so still a teenager, already achieved so much, played in a World Cup final. And does it get too much, the talk about age? Are you actually looking forward to September when you can get out of your teens finally?
Not really. I still want to be a teenager actually, to be honest. I don't want to, have that 20. I feel old then. But no, but I think for me, it's been right from the start, because even when I played hockey, like I was actually just 11 years old playing under 19. And then even when I played for Mumbai for the first time cricket, that time also I was around 11 and a half, 12. So I was, pretty used to it from like this time, I started playing professionally. So really, it doesn't bug me that much, it doesn't get to my head. And at the end, when you go out there and you're putting the India Blues, nobody's going to see your age. They're just going to see how well you play the game and how you can take the team to victory. So I totally believe in that, that once I'm out there, it doesn't matter if you're a 19-year-old or a 30-year-old. At the end, you need to do your best to help India win. That's the thing that matters.
So is the opposite true, that you'd prefer being on this side rather than, say, Smriti? No one calls Smriti a young player anymore because she's been playing international cricket for 6 years, even though she's just 22, 23. So are you actually afraid of being Smriti's age?
Not afraid. I wouldn't say afraid, but actually many people actually forget that Smriti is also like pretty young. Because actually, it's her fault only. Who told her to be so mature at such a young age? But no, I don't dread it as such. But I think it's like a compliment for Smriti, So I really look up to that at such a young age, to be so mature, take that responsibility of the team. That is like for us youngsters to look up to and see and like try and not be like her, but be the best version of you that you can be at that particular age. So yeah.
Okay. I'm just like glancing through the comments and I'm seeing Ellie is very, very active.
He just waits for me to come live, Okay, for all the life, hail Gary.
Yeah, what is going on? Give us a little bit
that's
of a
top secret. They have told me to evangelize on my lives in the previous lives I did, so they were very disappointed. So Sunny, Eddie, Ezekiel, this is for y'all. Hidel, all these people. It's a top secret, I tell you.
Oh my God. Chalo, we're going to have a separate private Instagram chat just to discover what this is, and I'm going to have a conversation. I think Jemmy's not going to tell me, but if I ask Ellie, maybe he will. I mean, like you said, you used the word evangelize, and there he was again. That is something that has always been a part of your personality, your faith. And I was just interviewing, or rather going through an old interview I did of one cricketer who's also a very, very devout Christian, and how much that helps in your game is something that I'm always curious about, because all sorts of people, and there are some people who, without any religious leanings or spiritual leanings, they try and be the best people they can be through sport. So sport is almost like a religion for them. And here you have two paths almost to be the best person you can be. Just talk us through that conversation you have in your head. Or maybe do you have a conversation in your head before you go out to bat?
For me, my faith is like really important to me right from the time, I started. It's my mom and dad who've taught me this. So, and that has actually, made me the player I am today, because I still remember, I know some people might find it kind of weird, but, this is what actually helped me when I was going through a bad phase. That time was the time I actually got convicted, and, I actually started believing that, yes, whenever I walk out there alone, I am not alone. And just to know that you have somebody who's so much bigger than you, just right behind you and just holding you, just takes off all the pressure off you. And, you can just go out there and just, like whatever happens, like he's in control. So, I was playing this under-19 season. I think I've told you this before also. Like, and I just done my India under-19, and, it was a very tough time after that. Because after that, I was expecting, okay, this is going to be like the season, I'm going to score a lot of runs. People were talking about me a lot. Coaches were also having, high expectations. My parents, I myself, above all, I had such high expectations. Yeah, this is going to be the season. I'm going to do well, this and that. But things just, was really bad for me. It was a very low phase in my life because I literally played approximately 40 to 50 matches, and in that I just had 150 or 250s. And for the kind of standard I had set, that was like very, very bad for me. And I was so disappointed, I was going there, I was trying my best every match, just trying my best. Just things were not working. And literally so many times I've come back in the room and I used to cry. Like, what's happening? Like, why is this happening? But it was during that time that this one scripture, just gave me the grace to put one step in front of the other at that time. And this was Jeremiah 29:11. It says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. So I was actually feeling like giving up. I thought, I'm not going to play cricket. I don't think it's my cup of tea. Because it was too much pressure. Selectors used to call, message, why are you not performing? Why are you not doing this and that? I myself used to put myself under a lot of pressure. Like, no, I have to perform. How can I do this? And in all that, I lost the joy of playing the game. But then, just reading that scripture at that time just gave me that realization, like, wait a minute. If God hasn't given up on me right now, then how can I give up on myself? So that kept me motivated, and I'm just telling you, like, after that, just going ahead, just keep on moving forward. I kept on moving forward, and things just fell into place. After that, the next year I scored heavily in under 19, and then next year the double century, 1,013 runs in 11 games or 10 games or something like that, and then challengers, after challengers, India A, and then playing for India. So I was just thinking, some while ago, what if I would have given up at that time? Like,
Bapre, no, I can't think of that. Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, that is what, and that has always helped me. When I play abroad, or I play for the country. That always helps me. To stay calm and just realizing that I'm never alone when I walk there. I always have Jesus with me, so that's always helped me.
Do you have a lot of scriptures by heart?
Yeah, kind of.
Really?
Like the Bible, yeah.
Wow, that is pretty impressive. Do you have a favorite scripture? Or do you have a current scripture which you're really relating to?
So one scripture now I am really relating to. I put it on my wall also. It says, don't cast away your confidence, for it has a great reward. So keep believing and don't give up.
Nice. I like it.
That is the scripture, like, for the season right now. So every season it keeps changing. So
nice. Can you show us? Can I ask you to show us?
yes,
I'd love to see the wall of Jemimah Rodrigues.
That's it.
Brilliant.
So this is.
Oh, you've got some great photos also up there.
I was planning to work on it right now, so I will definitely work on that.
Do you for example, is vision boarding something that you like to do, or something that you?
Yeah, I can tell you this what I did. So I was scoring heavily. I told you the first season, 2 seasons before playing for India. This was, so I scored heavily. But 3 most important games, that was the Challengers and against Railways. I had 0, 1 and 0. And that's why I wasn't selected, to play for India. And I wasn't a part of that 2017 World Cup and all that. And it was very frustrating at that time. Because, I was doing well in all the matches, but the 3 most important games, you also know how important those 3 games are, because all selectors' eyes are on those games. So in those games, it was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not scoring. That was 0, not even like 30, 40s. Like 0, 1, 0. And it was like very frustrating for me at that time. Because I think you can relate to it very well.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah, so then I was practicing, and then I had come into a zone like, why am I even practicing? What's the use? Like, I'd gone into a very negative zone. But then I realized that, if I need to play for India, I can't stay in that zone. I need to keep working hard no matter what. So what I had done, I'd gone on Google and I'd screenshot a picture of the India clothes, the India shirt and India pants. And yeah, so and then I cropped out my head and I put it on that. And every day I used to look at it and I used to say, Jesus, thank you that this year itself I'm going to play for India. And you know, I had a particular vision. So whenever I used to practice, you know, there was a motivation, you know, behind my head. Like I remember that picture, you know. Okay, I want to play for India. I want to play for India badly. So that gave me, you know, that motivation to go out there and, you know, practice even harder and keep going, even though I couldn't see any results at that time. And it was within 6 months that I then played for India. If you want, I can show you that picture.
Please, we would love to see that. It's pretty amazing that, you know, at that age, you're already got these concepts of having your vision in front of you in physical form.
And I think that helps a lot, you know, because like what you keep seeing now, like subconsciously, it always stays back in your mind, and you unconsciously keep moving towards that. So this was the screenshot I had edited. It's kind of funny, but this was the time when I actually played for India, when I first time wore the India blues.
So cool.
So actually, this is what I did even during the World Cup. We reached the finals, but unfortunately, like, we couldn't make it. But I'm going to keep believing. That's why I put that scripture up there, you know. Don't cast away your confidence, but it has a great reward. So yeah.
Absolutely. I like 100% believe that our time will come. And I say our because, you know, even though I'm not playing anymore, and in some ways I'm on the other side in the media, and sometimes it's my job to criticize the people who are on the field, and that's sometimes hard to do. But all I want as well, and is the same thing that you want, is that for India to win a World Cup.
I think that's everybody's dream in India, not just us.
Absolutely. And I also have 100% faith that it's going to happen. One of my favorite stories in your journey essentially is that move from Bhandup to Bandra.
Right.
And this is something that when I did that first interview with you, when you had just scored the double 100, I was amazed because I think from what I remember, it was a pretty large house in Bhandup.
Yeah.
And you moved into a pretty small house in Bandra. Give us a sense, I mean, for everyone listening, give us a sense of what the difference is.
Ellie, you know how much square feet is the house? I think now the house I'm staying in, like, Bandra is 180 square feet, I think. And that's compared to Bhandup, like, we had at least 5 to 6 times a bigger house. We had a 1+1. So we had upper, like, which is very huge, and a down thing also, which is very huge. But when we shifted from Bhandup to Bandra, and my mom, I remember, you know, first time she stepped into a house, she just looked around and she went there. Then mom was like, Ivan, that's it. Like, yeah, this is it. Like, I can't stay here. Her first sentence was that. But then later on, she was like, she spoke to my dad. She was like, I'm sorry I spoke like that. I think I'm supporting you and I'm supporting the kids also, no matter what. Even if you have to stay in this house for a long time, I don't mind. So even now, if you see, like, our house is kind of small, but now we've just bought another flat in Bandra itself. So we have 2 separate rooms. One is my brother's room and one is my parents where they are. But that too, both are like, you know, 180 square feet, and that is pretty small. But I think, yeah. But we are happy, you know, we are happy with this.
That's what I mean. That's one of my favorite lines from some poster I saw, is that a small house will hold 100 friends.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that is true. I was discussing with Ellie early, just some, like, few nights ago, that, you know, having a big house, I think we all wouldn't have spent so much time as much as, you know, in a small house where we are all in one room. And, you know, the masti and all that we do. So yeah. So I actually like it.
And that was actually a move that your family made for your brothers, right? That was before you had started playing cricket?
Not just for my brothers, it was for me also, because I also had started playing. All 3 of us used to travel in those crowded trains at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So yeah, my first experience, I actually started crying. I think Sunny's here, or no, I don't know, he was commenting, but he was the one who used to take us for practice from Bhandup to Bandra and then back. So, yeah. So he's also helped us a lot. So I mean, it was very difficult, but then my dad was like, I think it's time we shift now from Bhandup to Bandra. It's more opportunities for them. So literally when we shifted here, it was a huge step for them also, because they had to travel all the way back to Bhandup to take classes.
Correct. Their coaching class business was over there.
Their business is over there. They have an educational field. You know, they teach from the 8th standard to the 12th standard. So literally, they should travel back to Bhandup around 1.5-2 hours, and then again come back 1.5-2 hours to Bandra. And you know, it was very tiring. I don't know how did they do it, but they just did it, and that just shows the sacrifices that they have put behind making us who we are today. Not just me, even Enoch and Ellie.
Yeah, it's like in Hindi they say ना, जब लड़का क्रिकेट खेलता है तब सिर्फ लड़का नहीं खेलता है, उसका पूरा परिवार खेलता है. And the same is true, of course, with लड़की. जब probably even more sacrifices. I want to know, like your dad travels a lot to watch matches, so maybe he's not in front of the TV as much. But if he and your mom are in front of the TV, and the commentators sometimes don't get your name exactly right. I want to know how they react, because I can just imagine तुम्हें कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, you're on the field.
It's more frustrating for me because they're right
Really?
in front of me after the post-match interviews and all that. I remember one of the commentators, actually just before the interview could start, during the match they had that interview in the side going on. During the match, they just asked me, how do you pronounce your name? I said, it's Jemima Rodriguez. They said, okay, fine. Then they started, okay, so we have Jemima Rodriguez. Like, dude, I just told you it's Jemima Rodriguez. So yeah, it's kind of frustrating, but now I've stopped correcting people. Like, just call me whatever you all call me. Whatever you feel like calling me.
You got to put, like, I mean, English is a funny language. You got to put a Devanagari script on the back of your shirt to
Best
make
is
sure that
Jemmy,
everyone
Jemmy
pronounces right.
Less chances of failing.
Does anyone call you actually Jemima?
No, very rarely. Sometimes my dad. Like, very
If he is trying to scold you.
Not really. No, not just scold me. While scolding though, he says Jemima only. But otherwise also, sometimes he calls me like Jemima. And when my friends, especially when my friends call me Jemima, I'm like, Jemima kaun hai re? Like that. Because I'm so used to Jemmy and Jem. So yeah. Smriti. Smriti, whenever in the interviews, you know, they ask her, only in the interviews this is there, whenever they ask her, like, name these batters, what they did and all that, she'll be like, yeah, Shefali did well, Jemima did well. I'm like, why do you call me Jemima when you normally call me Gems or Jemmy? So yeah.
Nice. Welcome to the chat, Smriti. If you feel like joining in, feel free to join in.
No, yeah, Smriti won't join. Big people, busy people.
अच्छा वो तूने बोल दिया Jemmy.
Or if I'm angry with you, yeah, correct. If
Oh,
correct.
एक minute. Which one of us is she angry with?
No, if she's angry with me, she calls me. Yeah, she calls me.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
Jemima Rodriguez.
Sometimes she becomes this grandmother or motherly figure.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing happened with me also, because everyone knows me as Poppy, and this is back in the day where, you know, mobile phones were just coming in. So only one girl in the entire team had mobile phones, and when we went on tour, every parent would call up that girl, and then they would speak to their kids on that phone. So my parents would call her up, and they were like, Snehal she बोलायचंय, and she would be like, Snehal कोण? या टीम मध्ये कोणी स्नेहल नाहीये.
Yeah, I can completely relate.
What is Smriti's nickname nowadays?
Smriti's, that also I can't tell you.
Oh my god.
Normally, see, if I have to get work done, I'll be like, Smritu, listen now, can you please do this for me? So only if I have work to do. Otherwise, I'll just call her Smrits.
Bapre, now other people are calling her grandma. I think we better stop talking about Smriti. One of the things I realized with cricket or with sport is that when you're out there in the field in competition, you can't hide anything. And sometimes it reveals parts of us as athletes that are uncomfortable. Like for me, sometimes if there was a moment where I should have dived, but I didn't dive, I realized that I wouldn't call myself a person who's scared, but sometimes I'm scared. Have you ever had that kind of thought?
So many times. Like so many times while playing, because compared to others, I am a more emotional person. You know,
okay.
I get like nervous before a game.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've accepted that fact that, you know, I do get nervous before a game. That is a part of me, and I've accepted it. So yeah, I mean, compared to so many other people, yeah, I'm the pretty nervous one. But you know, that actually motivates me to, you know, go out there and, you know, have that more concentration and focus on the field. So yeah, that's like many times.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments about sports reveals character and all that. पर I think serious बातें बस हो गई. There is something that I saw in your show last time, which I wanted to take up with you and which I have purposely not told you about because otherwise you would have mentally prepared. Okay, Smriti asked you to speak in Marathi.
Smriti आहे का?
How is your Marathi and what is the, and if I give you a sentence, will you translate it into Marathi without using a single word of English?
I can try. My Marathi is pretty bad that everybody knows. But I can try.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll start you off nice and easy, okay? My name is Jemima Rodrigues. I play for India.
आहे. मी इंडियासाठी खेळते.
Smriti Mandana is, you can fill in the blanks.
स्मृती मानधना मला खूप त्रास देते.
Oh, not bad, yaar, Jemmy, not bad at all.
Not bad. But it's just that it's not that fluent. First, I couldn't even speak Hindi. I mean, now also my Hindi is not like next level, but like staying with the Indian team in Mumbai and Maharashtra, it's the language they use is Hindi and English. Sorry, Hindi and Marathi mostly. So that's how it developed. And literally, they used to speak to me in Hindi and I used to reply to them in English. That's how. But by talking and staying around them, it developed.
And I'm sure in turn you are teaching a lot of the girls in all the teams you play in. You're improving their English. First of all is our friend.
Yeah, unknowingly it does get improved.
I saw, I mean, one thing I've noticed through post-match interviews, etc., is that Shefali's English has improved off the charts since her debut and compared to her debut to what she was speaking in Australia.
Shefali, I think we also started making it a point, that Shefali Harry.
I know why you're smiling.
No, I think Shefali, we started making it a point that we start speaking to her in English.
Yeah.
It wasn't that her English was bad; she was just not confident speaking about it. She knew decent amount of English, but she was just not that confident. So we made sure that all of us, like whenever we are around, at least for some time, we start speaking in English, and that's how it developed. And if she would make a mistake, then we would correct her. And she would actually take it in a very positive way. And I'm glad that, you found that difference.
And while we're having this conversation, viewers को एक बार बताना चाहती हूँ कि it's not at all something to be ashamed about if you cannot speak fluently in another language besides what you have grown up in. Whatever language you have spoken in, that is the language that you need to speak in. Like, for example, even these interviews वगैरह, Lionel Messi and Rafael Nadal, when they come for interviews, they don't speak in English if they're not comfortable. They speak in their native language, and it's other people's responsibilities to be able to understand you. So your game is going to talk more than what you say later.
But I like the fact that every player takes the effort to go out of their comfort zone. And
correct.
So that's
I mean,
really nice.
Players from abroad are amazed at the fact that Indian players routinely speak 2 to 3 languages. The other day, Lisa Salekar was talking to Mithalidi, and she was like, Mithalidi speaks 4 languages, which is incredible for people from England and Australia, and they only speak 8 language. Jemmy, to wrap up, we're almost out of time, but I want to ask a little bit about the next episode of Double Trouble. Can you give us an idea as to who you have planned as a guest?
I wouldn't reveal it here. But
okay.
I will tell that, okay, I'll give you all a clue. There are 2 people on the next episode.
Oh, first time.
A male cricketer and a female cricketer. So rest you all decide. You all guess who is it.
Too good. Chalo, now this is going to set social media on fire, guessing who is going to come in.
It's going to be a very fun episode.
Right. I'm going to end with just a few rapid fire questions. The first few are choices. And the last few are your favorites. Okay? Very quickly, tea or coffee?
Computer G. Yeah.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
ODIs or T20s?
I like both. T20s.
Okay. Enoch or Ellie?
Is that an option?
That's absolutely an option. You can get that option. Bandra or Mandup?
Bandra.
Guitar or dancing?
Guitar.
Chicken or paneer?
Chicken.
Teenage years or 20s?
Teenage.
Okay. Favorite country visited so far?
New Zealand.
Favorite food had outside of India?
Outside of India. I think so. It'll be the steak I had at West Indies.
Now Harleen and Smriti have started off in the comments.
Ignore them. They just want
Huh?
attention.
Yes, of course. Jamie, thank you so much.
Thank you
Super
for
fun chatting.
having me. Thank you.
And I am looking forward to the next edition of Double Trouble.
Yes.
Bye. Thanks everyone for
Bye.
joining in.
Special shout out to my friends, my brothers, and all those people who came over here. Thank you. they tell me I don't give them credit, so like
Oh my
I
God.
have to give them.
Chalo.
Chalo. Bye.
Nice
Thank
seeing you, Jamie. Nice catching up.
Thank you.